Hi guys, welcome to Chapter 3, Evaluating a Business Opportunity with AARevision. And this might be a little over 10 minutes, so I hope you don't mind if it is cut up into two parts. So let's get straight onto it. Market research. So a market research, the definition to it is any kind of activity that gives a business information about its products or service, its customers, its competitors, or the market it operates in. So why do businesses need market research? It helps to identify what's happening in the market now, to predict what might happen in the market in the future, and to explore new possibilities in the market. Because if you're going to operate into a new market, you've got to know all the facts and figures about it, because there's no point becoming an entrepreneur or whatever it is, starting up a new business, if you don't actually know the market to a certain extent. So advantages. It gives information that can be used to make better informed decisions about the business and its future. It allows businesses to understand consumer behaviour and to make decisions that make them more responsive to customer needs and to help increase profits. It also helps to give a business a competitive advantage, because by improving the products or services, it helps them market them better. It's really crucial for any business startup to reduce the risks involved. So you've got to make sure that you know all your market research in order to reduce your risks. So there's two types. There is primary research and secondary research. I'm going to go straight into primary research. So it's also known as field research. So in your exam, if it comes across as field research, know that it's the same as primary research. So it is the gathering of information firsthand from an original source that has not been collected before. So this is when you go out into the public and you ask them yourselves, and you do it yourselves, and you're not like looking at Google or anything like that. So the best sort of options are questionnaires, focus groups, and direct interviews, because this involves like a one-on-one session with the people that you're trying to research about. So the advantages of it, it's designed specifically to suit the purpose of the business. So that's quite beneficial, because you want it to be precise in every way. So information will be up to date because you're currently asking them right now. So you know that it's up to date, because with the current society and everything changes, taste, preferences, you've got to know what's happening right now. Information gathered isn't available to its competitors. Disadvantages, it can be quite expensive to collect, because because you can hire people. If you've got a big business, you're not going to have time to go out into the streets and interview people. You're going to have to hire someone in order to find this research for you, so it could be expensive. It's time consuming, because if it was you that's doing it, or even if it's the person that you're hiring, it's going to take time. It's not like a 2-minute quick job. And it could give misleading or incorrect information in terms of people just wanting to hurry up and answer your questions, because when you stop them in the streets, they're not always going to have they're not going to have time for you. They're just going to make sure it's done, unless you've got some sort of incentive. Say if you've got free pens and there's kids with mums, the kids might want the free pens, and therefore they might actually, do your market research, bribe them. Secondary research, which is also known as desk research, so same thing really, is when you find and use information that has already been gathered by someone else. So when you Google things online and you try to find things out for yourself, national statistics, ONS, it's like an official. If you're doing economics, you'll know a lot about this in terms of essay questions. It will come up a lot, ONS. It's just research and that has already been collected, so also known as secondary research. Advantages of secondary research, it's done really quickly, especially if it's online. It can be much cheaper than the primary research because it's all online for you. Disadvantages, it may not be specific to researchers' needs. So unlike primary research, when you can go out and you can ask people your specific questions, you can't actually find specific questions to answer every single need in order for your research. Although it is quicker, it isn't that accurate, so it can be outdated or dated, whatever you say. Quantitative and qualitative research. So quantitative, if you have troubles remembering this, with quantitative, remember that it's quantity, because with the first bit, quantitative, quantity, so you just generally think about numbers. So it's based on numerical data, and it measures things and produces statistical information. I can't say my words. So the main types of these are usually sampling and questionnaires, because it's sort of like numerical answers. And a key thing, so an example, so the number of times 18 to 25-year-olds go to the cinema, or the percentage of Toyota's sales now made in China, it's all quantitative research. So it produces data on the market size and buyers and other characteristics such as age, gender and location. Qualitative, quality, because qualit, so you think of words basically. So it's based on consumer attitudes and opinions, and it tries to identify why consumers behave the way they do. So like a new product, how does the customer feel when they're buying the new product? Why are they buying it? All that sort of, like their opinions, you're just like surveying them, you just want to know all about them, and instead of numbers, it's more, I don't know, worded, I suppose. So you use focus groups and interviews. I was part of a focus group a few years ago, or a year ago, probably a year ago, don't know why I said a few years ago. It was with about 9 other girls, I believe, and it was about a breakfast milkshake that was coming up in London that has already been sold in Australia, and we got to taste test it, and they asked us about our opinions on it, what we prefer more. So I was basically part of a qualitative research in terms of finding out what the best thing is, really. Sampling. So it would be practically impossible to interview everybody in a particular market, and so by using a smaller section of a sample of the market is chosen to being a representative of the whole. So there's lots of 3 different types, really. Stratified, random and quota. Random sampling is a group of people selected to be a representative of the population as a whole, so it interviews people who walk by, resulting in a biased sample. So biased is meaning you're sort of one-sided, you haven't really looked at the whole market. It's effective and accurate, which is the advantage. Remember that I've put the advantages into green and the disadvantages into red. So it's effective and accurate. I wouldn't actually be totally precise and accurate, because like I said with the other research method, when you walk by, people might not always give you the right answers. They might just lie in order to get things done quickly, or to be nice to you and your product. So it could be hard to truly random in practice, because you can't be random. If you're targeting a market in central London, or you know, it's probably going to be the people that work in these big buildings, etc., and it doesn't really research everything. And it has to be a large sample size in order to be effective, and it could be expensive. The same thing as before, when you hire out someone else, it takes time, you have to pay them. Stratified sampling, it involves targeting one particular segment of the market that you want to find out about. So it targets the market efficiently. So example, baby foods. If you're going to make new baby foods, you might only interview mums between 16 and 30, because that's who you're targeting. So you're technically stratifying, or segmenting, in another word, segmenting the market in order to pick out who you want. So it targets market effectively, because you know who you want, you've got the sample size for who you actually want, but difficulty in identifying appropriate data, and it's more complex to organise and analyse the results. Quota sampling, so this is more of the segmenting. Advantages, it's cheaper and effective way of sampling, but disadvantages, you need to be careful when drawing up quotas to avoid being biased. So quota sampling, so say you focus on you do 100 interviews, and then 50% of the interviews are men, and then 50% of that 50% of that 50%, 10% should be below 20 years old, and another 10% should be aged between 20 and 30, and so on. So you're sort of segmenting the market. Right, I shall continue with the rest of chapter 3, because I'm sort of running out of time. So sorry that it's split into 2 parts, but keep watching for part 2. Thank you.